you remember the date when you first played?
Oh, no.
You remember the year?
It was like 68.
68. Right.
67 or 68.
Right.
And Salvation 2 closed. So I was sort of out of work, and I was doing air conditioning work.
You doing what?
Air conditioning work.
Oh, right.
Of course, it was my mother's house. Because I had a Great Dane, and I had to support the Great Dane. And I would go to this club in Herald Square called Tarot.
As in tarot cards?
Herald Square, 14th Street.
Right.
Might be Union Square, might be.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned, I had asked him if he was, he needed, I asked him, when I go there, he needed a disc jockey one night. I said, go. Now, he just had a switch. He didn't have a fader.
Right.
He just had it like a switch. He went from one to the other. And back then it was basically the same tunes. Nights in White Satin was very popular.
How long did you play that?
Until the doorman, bouncer from the sanctuary came to the club on a Sunday night. It was all tarot. And he turned around and said to me, would you like to, the guy we got at the sanctuary really sucks. So would you like to, audition? I said, sure. And I had, at the time, I had Brian Oberg, the Trinity, Julie Driscoll, doing way old tunes now. And I went there with 8 records. I had set up an audition in the afternoon. Went there and they would had to sing for a fashion show, the models. And in 8 records, I had the job.
Right.
I said, well, I can't do it in 8. I'm not going to do it all night long.
Yeah,
I only brought 8 records. It was very interesting. And next thing I knew, I was at the sanctuary. That's when the sanctuary was straight, and it was basically couples like Salvation too.
Okay.
What really was funny was that the manager of Sanctuary used to be the manager of Trudy Heller. And we all thought the day manager and the night manager hated each other.
Yeah.
But in reality, they were shacking up. And they took off for like $175,000.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This is from Sanctuary.
The original Sanctuary, the original owners.
Was this the one in the church, or was that?
Yeah, the one in the church. It's the one that they had to put the Catholic Church. It was called the church first. The Catholic Church grew up for 2 weeks and got an injunction to close it down. Because we had this mural that I would face that was unbelievably pornographic. And what was interesting about it was the devil, they took the 8 owners and this guy painted like a distinct feature of each one of them on this. Like no matter where you stood in the club, it was like he was looking at you.
Right.
The horns and angels were fucking in. It was like, so then what they did was they changed the name to the Sanctuary. They reprinted all my matchbooks and everything. And they stuck plastic fruit in various places. Like a bunch of grapes here, we had red grapes, you had green grapes,
Just to cover it up.
Yeah. So that, the church wouldn't, the Catholic Church wouldn't, because it used to be some kind of German Protestant church.
Right.
And we had, and then because this guy took the $175,000, they had to change hands. So they wanted to make the first gay bar.
Okay, so the new owners came in.
Yeah, the front men at the beginning. Anyway.
This is what year?
'69.
Right. I can check.
And they fired everybody. Well, they didn't want women.
Right. So this is after Stonewall. It was like suddenly you could have
Well, the first time, I'd never taken the concept of a gay bar without a jukebox.
Right, and not being secret, because I imagine before that.
Oh yeah. Well,
secret,
I remember the Stonewall. I was at the Haven the night of the Stonewall riot. I remember seeing the police come in a city bus.
Right.
It was like wacky. I mean, we had locked the doors, and cops were clubbing people. They were throwing bricks and bottles.
Yeah.
It was blacked out night that night. But anyway,
And you were playing at the Haven, is that right?
Yeah. That was during the Stonewall riot.
Right. So you were playing
at... Shelley and Seymour came in.
Yeah. This is that Sanctuary.
And they didn't know anything about it. So they were considering, of all the people that they let go, had to get a whole new crew. They're going to keep me, to try me out or whatever. So it became evident that I had the job. We used to close Mondays and Tuesdays. Now we're open 7 days a week and we're packed.
Yeah.
And I used to go to the men's room. Customers were trying to always pick me up in the men's room. So I remember one time I was in a urinal pissing, and this guy was in a business suit. And he said something to me. I said, employer policy is that employees cannot date customers. Then I started going to the ladies' room because there were no ladies. So when I had to pee, I went to the ladies' room. And I remember one time there was a fellow named Alan who used to stand by the door and greet people. And he was doing an article with somebody, and they said, I wish you had straight people here. And he went, yeah, there he goes. The one guy. I mean, it was very, very, very awkward. I mean, I had such power at that time that two female friends of mine came to visit. They were just friends, about 2 o'clock in the morning on a weekday night. And I said, I had James Brown live with the Apollo on, about 25 minutes and 32 seconds. And I said, if you don't let them in, you better get somebody up there to change that record. So after about 5 minutes of this stalemate, they let them in.
Right.
Jane Fonda filmed the movie Clue there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She had a big argument with Seymour and Shelley because they wouldn't permit lesbians in the club.
Uh-huh.
And this was when she won her first Academy Award, Jane Fonda. I'm the disc jockey in the movie, and I had like 3 weeks work doing the whole thing. It was fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
But when I was doing double duty, I was showing up at the movie set at 7:30.
Oh, no.
Driving home to Brooklyn, walking my dog, shaving, showering, going back to work. 4 o'clock in the morning. Took its toll.
Yeah, I bet. Well, how long was that then? How long?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It was like summertime, and it was. They would have like a big table with coffee and bagels and donuts and everything you wanted.
Yeah.
And then the cops came because they had, to get the feel of real hookers. They had real hookers. And then evidently they sent the cops in because there was like a lot of drug dealing going on.
Right.
In between takes.
Oh, shit.
It's a lively crowd. I remember when I left Sanctuary to go to Haven.
Uh-huh.
Because I was still into getting all dressed up and go to work.
Right.
And this guy sold me a bill of goods, which never panned out. And I had a friend who was a disc jockey, famous disc jockey in New York City called Bob Lewis.
Right.
And we were going to do some things together. When he played mixes that I would lay down, let's say, Soul Sacrifice by Santana, and then put the live Woodstock version on top of it.
Right.
And extend it and go back and forth. And the Woodstock version is a little bit faster.
Okay. So what, you would totally overlay the two things? How did that sound?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was like the first reverb anybody ever heard of. But it wasn't. I remember when I was working at the Haven, the manager, Michael Krennic, called me up and said, somebody's been fooling around with the cartridge, the wires in the back. And could I take a look? I said, well, I could stop up there before I go down to Haven to work. And when I walked in and the customers saw me behind in the booth, they all applauded. And I was like this big cheer, and I'm like, I'm not staying.
Right.
So I had a great moment.
From what I've read, the Sanctuary was a wild place. I mean, did it change?
That got wilder.
It was like
in the summertime they were having sex in people's hallways.
Right. What about in the club? Not in the club? Did that go on?
Only me. But now we're open all night. We're a juice bar now.
Yeah.
Our liquor license. So they had to be doing something, you know.
Yeah.
And we've been staying up till we're open till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. And they'd be so smashed in the summertime. They'd be people's vestibules and their hallways, you know. It was a very, I mean, I get to have articles, I don't know, I still have them. The Daily News that says it's called the drug supermarket.
What drugs were people doing?
Back then, it was, the biggest thing back then was Roars.
Roars? Oh, Quaaludes, right.
The small ones are 300 milligrams with a pill. And you had the capsule, which was 400 milligrams.
Okay.
And back then they went for like $5 a piece. I had a pharmacist friend of mine, and he used to get them by the sealed bottle of 100. And I sell them for $1 a piece. With 8 or 9 people, to pay, drink all night. I had a drink then. I didn't. I was a druggie.
Right.
And it got pretty. I mean, I got a walk on my dog.
Yeah.
People like scream out your name on the street or in the supermarket. I do average things. Well, right.
But that must have been great. But it must have just been people in the clubs, wasn't it? I mean, people that you knew from the clubs?
You'd be surprised if you put an average of 1,500 people in a room.
Yeah.
For that many years, I last like 17 years.
Right, yeah.
A lot of people are going to get to see. I mean, I made a lot of fans in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I made a lot of fans everywhere.
Because you were pretty much the first DJ that had that kind of following.
Yeah, and
what were you doing differently? I mean, there were guys before you. What were you doing differently?
there wasn't really guys before me.
But I mean, there were guys playing records in clubs,
but nobody had really, kept the beat going. Like they danced, they changed records, they had to catch the beat again.
Right.
It never flowed. And they didn't know how to go up to bring the crowd to a height and lower them back down and bring them back up again.
Exactly.
It was like an experience. And just somebody put it. And the more fun the crowd had, the more fun I had.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I really loved the atmosphere. I just wouldn't want to have been a customer. I loved being in the room.
Right.
But I couldn't see myself like being amongst one of the customers on the dance floor.
Sure.
And it's an older place because I couldn't handle that. I really hate crowds. But it's like fun to absorb it.
Yeah.
Really.
And to be in control as well. You're in control of the situation. Yeah. So what kind of things, how did you develop all of that? Because that was pretty much a clean slate. Yeah.
I was a dancer, so it was rhythmically not hard.
Yeah.
And I play a few instruments.
Oh, you do? What do you play?
Well, I learned on the accordion. I was young then.
Right.
Then I went to guitar and then drums and saxophone.
Right. So you're playing bands at all?
I was playing in high school.
Oh, okay. You say musically it wasn't a problem, and I can understand that. If you're a dancer, you know what you want to dance to. But technically, it must have been a real problem with the equipment that you had back then.
You have, say, an average, you're playing 45. Today you got a disc jockey puts on a 20-minute 12-inch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm changing records. You feel like every 2 minutes and 12 seconds on it.
Right. Yeah.
These guys that don't really work today.
No, exactly.
They don't really work today.
No, not the same.
No. You're playing mostly 45s.
Yeah.
I had like certain bathroom records. Certain records you played only when you had to go to the bathroom.
What were they?
James Brown Live with the Apollo.
Right, yeah.
And you had your, you could play the before album, Brian Over in the Trinity, without Julie Driscoll. Played a lot of English music. And I'd gotten a lot of imports over my time. And I would hear things, and I had to deal with the record store. Where I used to live that he'd let me take in all the new 45s and go in the back with a little portable Victrola and listen to them. And I'd buy them.
Right.
And if I didn't buy them, I'd put them back.
Yeah.
So I had it, you know, I shot it at all new 45s that came out. Basically, it was all that was out then.
Yeah.
It had to be really good for somebody to buy an album.
Right.
And then you had your Booker T and the MGs, you had your Sam and Dave, you had your Memphis sound, you had your Detroit sound, the Motown sound, you know, and you had to mix it up.
So technically, I mean, you pretty much invented slip cueing, right? How did that come about?
Well, to tell you the truth, when Bob Lewis was playing with a disc jockey on the radio, before they went to oldies, way back when they played rock and roll, the engineer had taught me.
Right.
But I found with the two slide faders, that had gotten so good because you see the reflection off the record.
Yeah.
It's different from musical, from instrumental to singing.
Yeah.
If you look at a record.
Yeah, you can see the different shades.
Of the black.
Yeah.
So, and it was, I never liked the knob.
Right.
When the Bozak came in. It may have technically been more perfect.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do what you could do with slide faders. And then I got so good I could catch it on the run.
Oh, well, you would just drop the needle on?
No, I could catch it on the beat.
Right. But that's with, like, holding the record?
Without.
Without?
The record spin, yeah, you put the needle.
It's like, bang, that's it.
Right into it.
Wow.
And it basically has to be, you can't be shocking in any way with the sound.
Yeah.
And it can't be like overcoming or overpowering.
Yeah.
It's going to be too much of a notice.
Yeah.
And we just practiced. I guess I practiced live. I guess.
So you would hit the exact beat that you wanted?
Right.
The beginning of the bar. So
you start out with like records that say like Staples singing, I'll take you there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a slow beat.
Yeah.
And you build slowly and slowly.
Yeah.
And you're ever increasing the beat.
Yeah.
Until you get them dancing fast.
Yeah.
Like I used to play Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Right.
I love playing that. I discovered a lot of records too.
Right.
When A&M tried to release his Yabako Dream, which was really Sly and the Family Stone, called Life and Death in G&A.
So what were you always aiming for? What was your aim when you were playing?
That hard.
Yeah.
People should have the same amount of fun I'm having. And I never felt like I did a good job.
You never did?
I always felt I could have done it better.
Oh, shit.
I still do that today.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could have done that better. I was always doubting myself. There was always room for improvement.
Did you practice a lot, or just in the clubs?
It wasn't until I moved to this neighborhood that I didn't have a disc jockey set up.
Right.
I built a booth in my living room.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I moved to this neighborhood. The only time I really got to hear quality sound was to go to work.
Right.
Which made me want to like run to work.
So what were the best times?
I learned, I try to learn something from everything. I can't say that. Even when you're in a meeting, I try to learn something from it. It taught me a lot of lessons in life. What use, I have no idea, but it took me.
Do you go listen to people today? You go
boring.
Really?
People talk about they paid $500 for this jockey this way.
Yeah.